Bird of Prey 5. El Karuga. Kapla. Kapla.
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail Karuga. That's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember to tip your waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
If you come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. If you're here to make war, we surrender.
Both good. The important thing is I'm meeting new people.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a piecework factory. From now on, it's going to be under one roof. You're going to run it like a business. And that means you're going to make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before or since. Tall words, proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Bird o' Prey 5 channel. Hail Karoga.
Hello world, it's Bird o' Prey 5, Kapla, and welcome to Bed Life for Friday, March 8th, 2024. March 8th, a family birthday to a very special family member, not Ciso Prey, but perhaps the next closest person, not a parent, aunt or uncle, next closest person in my life, in the family. I hope he is having a wonderful birthday, although I am afraid he probably is not. But if you're out there, I'm with you, and I hope you are doing well, although we don't talk as often as we should. I do know that you are, you know, life is what it is, and I wish you nothing but the best if you're listening, and I'm not sure if you are, but it's a possibility. So I wanted to say hello. Hakeem was first in the chat. Kapla Hakeem says, time to dust off the NES and go duck hunting because it is National Retro Video Game Day. Yes, on this TBIF, thank Bird, it's Friday, edition of Bed Life. Today's besides thanking me, it's Friday. We can thank the random day of the calendar, website, whatever, that it is indeed National Retro Video Game Day, and we can think about our old NES, or in my bedroom wasn't NES, but Sega Master System, the much sleeker, black looking, cooler looking, not gray, boring box of death, but nice and sleek and black and red and cool looking Sega Master System. That was the that was the gaming system of choice for me in 1980, 85, 86, 87, probably, and 88, which comes into well, anyway, those were the good years. Those were the good years, and Sega Master System. That's what I think back on, and yeah, retro gaming. And I'm sorry, guys, as you can tell, it has not been a great day. I don't know why, but all of a sudden, after relatively improving conditions and days, today is just really gone to shit. I watched a video that Star Trek released today, because it's not only Retro Arcade Day, it's also International Women's Day, and they decided to release like a 5-minute video dedicated to the women of Star Trek. And you think, oh, that's not too bad. Like, we can have, surely they can put out a video dedicated to the women of Star Trek over the last, 50 plus years of Star Trek, and it not be that terrible, right? It not be that bad. But oh my God, it not only did it make me want to throw up, it literally making me sick. Hours later, I started saying, oh, I'm going to do a video on this. I'm going to do this. No, hours later, I'm sitting here and I'm kind of shaking at myself because I am so disgusted. I'm so disgusted with Star Trek. It's like, do I even bother? Do I even want to bring it up? Well, yes, I want to bring it up. Do I want to do a whole separate video? Not really. But maybe I should. Maybe I should just put it as part of this video. I don't know. But we're going to go over it now because I've got to. Captain Fandom Nerd says, hello, Captain. Richie Pool with 3 alpacas and the Mom O'Prey, Sis O'Prey, Nephew O'Prey, and Sassy Emoji. Kapla Richie. Mr. Londell's Groovy Movies. Kapla Mr. Londell. Jedi Bill says, Kapla Brother Warrior. Birdo for 5. And all should hail Karoga. Thank you, Jedi Bill. And Captain Fandom Nerd also wants to hail on Karoga. Yvette, the lovely Yvette, says, good evening, Bird and everyone. I'm on the mend finally. Slow going, but getting there. Lovely to hear from the lovely Yvette. And LDG, hashtag free the net, says, howdy gowdy. Kapla LDG. And Yvette says, oh, and my favorite arcade game, Space Ace. Very cool, Yvette. I don't remember Space Ace specifically, but it sounds cool. And Sci-Fi Sith Tan says Kapla to everybody. Thank you, Sci-Fi Sith Tan. 47 Yorktown says hello, young sir. Hello, 47 Yorktown. Captain, go away. His bones went through the Guardian's portal. That is true. Bones went through first, but came to the past 3 weeks after Kirk and Spock, who went through second. Captain Go Away says, Hail Pulowski, best Starfleet doctor ever. Well, that's your choice, Captain. Kronos is ranting will make you feel better, Bird. I don't know, Kronos. I really don't know. Yvette says National Women's Day again. Well, no, this one is different. This is International Women's Day. That's the problem, because it's International Women's Day. Other days is National Women's Day. So two separate days. Kronos says, hey to Captain. And Words and Pictures is in the house. Saying hi to Sci-Fi Sith fan. Everybody's saying hello to everybody. Words and Pictures says, Yvette, glad to hear you're doing somewhat better. Good to see you. Indeed. Kronos is too many captains. I'm a fleet admiral. Good for you, Kronos. Welcome. Congrats on your promotion. Words and Pictures says, hey to Brother Bill. Kronos says, I would like to hear some good news. I know you would, Kronos. I know you would. Captain Fandom Nerd says, hello to Words and Pictures. Kronos says, Bird is ignoring me. I never ignore you, Kronos. Kronos says, I was spotted and runs away. Dan Ben says, hello, Dan Ben. Yvette says, Slug will be an hour near you from Sunday for 2. Yvette says, Slug, I will be an hour nearer to you Sunday for 2 weeks, only 4 hours ahead. Kronos says, dang time travelers, and cheers to everyone. And hey to Captain MKG. Is Captain MKG here? How did I miss them? Kapla, Captain MKG, although I'll be honest, I'm looking up and down the chat and I do not see you. If Captain MKG is typing in the chat, please somebody let me, oh, there he is. He says, cheers, everyone. Okay. Right under dang time travelers. I was afraid that I was not able to view his text, but no, there it is. I see you. I see you, Captain MKG. I hope you are doing well, sir. Okay, so listen, I gotta talk about this. So let's head over to Star Trek. Put out this, the women of Star Trek. Happy International Women's Day from the women of Star Trek. It was put out 4 hours ago, at least at the time I loaded this. Had 969 views. So this was pretty quick. Let's see. It's a 3-minute video and 251 likes. Only 251 likes after being up 5 hours now. And let's, I'm going to put the audio on, although I can't let it play for long.
Youth, I was raised to believe that service was my purpose.
Obviously, it starts off with Michael Burnham, and she's crying, and Sarek is being a mean man, and basically saying it's her emotional heart that's her problem. But of course, As the video plays, we just get to see women coming into their own, and
Noble objectives.
they basically
Institution.
have women dominating men throughout
Captain Janeway?
Star Trek. They have Janeway, because she was obviously, the first female captain that had her own show. There were plenty of female captains, right? I mean, hell, the first African American captain was also a woman captain, and goes back all the way to Star Trek IV. At least. Just saying. Okay, but regardless, there were women with Star Trek all the way back to the beginning, and that's why they go ahead and they say since 1966. Fine, good. But here's the problem. Okay, this 5-minute video, they re-edit, recut. So even in Voyager, when characters we watched Voyager, right? There was no problem with men and women on USS Voyager. It was so far in the future that it wasn't an issue anymore. People weren't bitching. People weren't bitching over sexism. And yet, since Discovery, there's been clear revisionist history where it's like women have to again reprove themselves because they just don't feel that they're worthy enough or something. So every time they are in a conversation with a male colleague, it's not enough that they discuss it. It must be that the woman must be 100% right. The male must be 100% wrong. And any male that dare question a woman, well, you know what happens to them. They die. They die in a manner most horrible because they had the balls to question a woman. It's not good. Anyway, yeah, it happens, and
The truth is, I like it. It's not every doctor who gets
it's hard. It's cringy almost to see how they edited this video together, because they have to edit. They have to give Dr. Crusher. So, I mean, she had time on the bridge, and she was actually pretty good at it. They didn't even have to go out of their way to make her look like an asshole, but they do. But more importantly, and I'm going to skip ahead, they did have to work pretty hard to find a spot for Counselor Troy to actually look like she was doing something of value, because let's face it, Counselor Troy was never particularly good at command. It was part of her character that she was shitty at command. And, well, they found one of the few clips where she was actually wearing a regular uniform to make her.
Or is this simply a test of my ability to handle it?
And they couldn't even find an appropriate clip, so they just showed video of her dressed in a uniform, but then overthrown audio that I believe she was actually speaking at the time to Riker. But that video wouldn't have looked particularly pleasing to her. So we just get
no-win situation.
We just get her talking about the no-win situation, and poor Tilly. They can't even find any good video of Tilly. They've got to go and bring up season 1 Tilly as Captain Killy from the Mirror Universe, which is by far the most attractive Tilly has ever been in Star Trek Discovery. I kind of feel bad. I feel bad for Mary Wiseman that even in this video where they're trying to show women dominating, women being women, women not needing to be pleaseful to men, that they would use her Star Trek Discovery clip that was her most attractive day on Star Trek Discovery set, compared to, one of her more recent roles where she was hugging a tree or something. But no, they go back to this. So, okay, fine. You know what? I'm down with that, Mary.
What do I owe the pleasure?
The only pleasure I take is from the blood of my enemies staining my uniform.
All right, yeah. The only pleasure she takes is the blood of her enemies staining her uniform. And of course, this guy does the eyebrow thing because it means he's going to die.
Sometimes it feels.
We had a picture of Kira from DS9 and B'Elanna from Voyager.
Possible.
And we got a voiceover of Uhura from Strange New Worlds. Fine, whatever. But this one coming up right now at the 1 minute mark of this video.
If we work at it, miracles can happen.
Here it is. No, not Rafi.
You're Jadzia Dax.
You're Jadzia Dax. It is Captain Benjamin Lafayette Sisko. Captain Sisko saying, "You're Jadzia Dax.
And you have a responsibility
as a joined trill to never." And now, Dax, Jadzia Dax, the Jadzia Dax, cuts off Benjamin Sisko, a friend of hers over 2 lifetimes. And she cuts him off. Who's also her superior officer. And she says, "I did not come here
to hear a lecture
about my responsibilities." And that's it. They very quickly edited away because she's like, "Fuck you, guy." Okay? I didn't come here to hear a lecture about my responsibilities from a man on International Women's Day. Fuck you. That is what they show us. But I was like, wait a second. I recall those lines because those lines are from a very special episode. They're from an episode that I happened to just keep the video up all the time. Okay? Why is it? Because those lines are from Rejoined. Yes, and in fact, the very specific line is between Captain Sisko and Dax. Dax says, "I don't come here to hear a lecture about my responsibilities." And where they cut it there, in fact, Sisko gets the final word. And Sisko cuts her off and says, "No, you came here for advice from a friend. And that's exactly what you're getting." And Dax gives up. And Dax says, "You're right. I'm sorry." That wasn't a win for Dax. That was a win to Sisko. Sisko reminds her where she is and what she's putting to risk. Sisko says, "I know it's difficult for you. I know how you feel about Lenara, but I want you to think about what will happen if you pursue this. If you're exiled from Trill, there will be no further host for your symbiont. When Jadzia dies, Dax dies. That goes against everything
Indications negative at
you
this
were
time.
taught." Oh, thank you, Words and Pictures. I'll be right there. That goes against everything you were taught at your initiate training. You told me again and again that each host is only a link in the chain, and the life of the symbiont, no matter what happens, must go on. And Words and Pictures with a £5 sterling super chat says, "Did they show kissing Dax?" No, those sons of bitches. No, on International Women's Day, they did not. They did not show kissing Dax. But you know what? We will. We will, Words and Pictures, because we respect women. And it is International Women's Day, and there is perhaps no better video clip on the internet than kissing Dax, which is, of course, a scene from Rejoined. Dax's quarters, where Jadzia Dax and Loren, her previous, not technically her previous partner, but you get it. There it is. The kiss heard round the quadrant. Oh, yeah. There it is. And they're gonna go in. Technically, it's multiple kisses. There it is. Like I've counted at least 7 kisses so far. 7. There's actually 7 kisses. So there it is. There it is. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my God. Yeah, you better go. So, I mean, then this video goes for another 2 minutes. They bring in the animated series because they had an all women's episode in the animated series. They've got the crazy cat doctor on Lower Decks, also Tindy, because Lower Decks, they've got a lot of modern Trek, because modern Trek is like 80% women already. You got your women characters in modern Trek. Again, obviously this one is a woman, but for those who don't know, the giant rock monster that's also a girl. It's a little girl. So that's, you know, these are two women on the screen at the same time. And then you've got, obviously, Mariner on lower decks and with her mom. And we got Mikey Spock. Oh, and there's Guinan.
We will continue exploring.
And there's the fake engineer from, no, that's Hoshi Sato. She's legit, but we've got the fake engineer from Strange New Worlds.
Exploring, discovering new worlds, new civilizations.
Nothing will be said if any volunteers.
Then there's the original number one. Her actual short time in charge from the cage and the menagerie.
Here wants to back out.
No one will complain if you want to back out. And we got a Voyager reference.
It's about a vision and all those who believe in that vision.
There. Please acknowledge signal. Now, JJ Trek. There's a criminal hiding in the ruins. And we got fake Ahura. We have 7 of 9, real 7 of 9.
We're going to war.
Real Janeway. Jet Reno. Real Ro.
Blow up the damn ship! No!
Lily, blow up the damn ship. The one yelling at Captain Picard. The woman, even then, even way back, in First Contact, they had Lily, the woman of color, had to be the one to tell Captain Picard how to deal with his ship. His ship! Blow up the damn ship!
Emergency procedure. Evasive maneuver 7 Alpha. Launching torpedoes, Captain. I'm reading 3 inbound.
Like honestly, every Discovery's entire bridge is all women anyway. It'd be hard pressed to find a guy on the bridge of Discovery. Whereas all these other shots, they find like the one shot where the women are, it's just so ridiculous. Okay? Everything was cool. There was no problems from the 90s Trek. They're just hitting each other. The women are hitting each other.
All good. I love it, actually.
Remember.
Okay. It's Kira is quoting a Cardassian, a man. This actually makes her look weaker. If you know who she's quoting than almost anything else Kira does in Deep Space Nine, Kira does cause Kira. Okay? And that's who you should be. That's who you should be portraying. That's who you should be seeing. We shouldn't be seeing this Kira, Kira just telling people to remember what Damar said. It's like that's not the strongest Kira we've ever seen. This is Kira following in Damar's. But don't get me wrong, Damar deserved his chance to shine. But
His orders. Remember his orders. We stop for nothing.
Remember his orders. We stop for nothing. There are so many other, I don't know, there's so many other places I feel we could have got a strong Kira quote from. You didn't have to bring in Damar, but whatever.
This is fantasy. You wanted Adventure House this.
I'm glad.
Now this one scene I do like. That's Uhura from Star Trek 3, which if you guys were watching on Anti-Derivative Jill's channel, I don't know if they're still watching it or not. Very well, they might be. She did that episode, that movie today, and that was indeed a great line by Uhura from Star Trek 3. So, and I do like that they kept McCoy, and I will give credit where credit is due. They actually do have this scene with Captain Kirk in it. Now, granted, he doesn't say much, if anything. Dr. McCoy is the one who would get the line. I'm glad they're on our side. But the fact
You're on our side.
the fact that Captain Kirk is even in the video is a good step forward. And it's not only in there for some woman to tell him off. He's actually there and in charge.
The answer's no. As long as Voyager's in one piece, we stay.
Although, immediately after saying that, we do get Captain Janeway giving a hell no to Commander Chakotay. But that's fine. She is the captain, and she gets to make those rules. I have no problem with that, because they didn't have to edit it funny to make it look like Janeway was getting the last word. Janeway always gets the last word. She's the captain to Chakotay. Chakotay is the first officer. So Janeway gets the last word. However, don't make it look like Dax, like Commander Dax gets the last word over Captain Sisko, when she doesn't. She never does, because Captain Sisko always outranks Commander Dax. Anyway. Of course, we get more Strange New Worlds bullshit.
Everybody ready?
And
Let's fly.
Michael Burnham ending Discovery. Hopefully the last we'll ever see of it will be Captain Michael Burnham in season 5 flying the Discovery into a star. And they'll never be seen again. But we can only hope. We can only hope. So there it is. StarTrek.com. This 3-minute video and this 5-second clip. You're Judge Zia Dax. You have a responsibility to join Trill.
Come here to hear a lecture about my responsibilities.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And you know what? Thank goodness you did, because he goes on to tell you all about your responsibilities. Okay. And then we'll yeah. Oh, look at those noses. Look at those noses touching. Oh, she's got to leave. She's got to leave. Okay. Let's we'll just leave that in the background for the moment. We'll go back. We'll go back to the chat. Schwario says, Kapla Bird, hope you and the family are doing well today. Thank you, Schwario. Mike Richards has a Birdo Fay 5 rant. Thank you. Thank you, Mike Richards. Kronos says, burnt ham isn't a woman. Dan Benz is going to mention Star Trek. Posted that video. I did watch it. Good for you. Fake track, says Kronos. Dan Benz says they do post that video on other social media platforms also. I'm sure they did. Schwario says, Bird, I got a new TV yesterday. It's a 50-inch 4K Vizio. It's a nice TV. Awesome, Schwario. Congrats. Thank you for watching at 4B, says Kronos. You're welcome. Schwario says, hello, you all. Kronos says 7-0 drools, niner. Words and Pictures says, I quite like being dominated by women, but not in a Star Trek way. Kronos says, hey, says Mamo Frey should have been in a Star Trek show, says Kronos. I question fake Star Trek woman, also says Kronos. Gotta like the Daxes. No Crusher or Troy. Pop Culture Curator says, hello there, guys. Hello, Pop. Kronos says, Troy is a horrible driver, indeed. Kronos says, she effed up 2 Enterprises. Kronos says, Tilly is actually Jabba the Tilly. Kronos, that's not nice. Pop Culture Curator says, only attractive. The only attractive Tilly was Killy. That's true. Mikey Sues 4 says, my wife Suzanne and I believe in respect and equality. That and my folks who both communicate are rare couples in our society today. Indeed. Kronos is Bird of 5. You think AOC is attractive. You have interesting likes. Okay, I think AOC is physically attractive. I do not believe she's smart. I do believe she's attractive. Sci-Fi Sith Dan says hello there to Mikey Sues. Kronos says, I didn't hate the gal from Law and Order. Kronos says, Esri, Sci-fi says Dan says Kapla to Pop. Pop says Kapla back. Kronos says yo to Mikey. Kronos says she didn't come here. Mikey Sue says hello to Kronos. Kronos says Birdo Prey 5. You got your groove back. I don't know about that. Captain, go away, says non sequitur. Bob Culture Curator says, Kapla Bird, hope you are well and feeling fine. Well, I'm okay. I've been feeling better. It's been a rough day, I'll be honest. Kronos says, I don't do the Latin thing. I still believe that it should be taught in schools. Look at those eyebrows go. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says, Dear Bop, check Twitter. I sent you a picture relevant to Retro Game Day. Let's see. Do I have a way we can, we'll just type in Twitter. Hopefully, Twitter. Let's see. Okay, well, let me make sure that there's nothing. Okay, I don't want to. What AI thinks Duck Hunt is? Okay. That is what AI thinks Duck Hunt is. And you got a father and daughter smoking cigarettes with a real gun, watching Duck Hunt on a TV with a Nintendo on the carpet, and real ducks, real or fake, I don't know, real fake ducks on the carpet. This is an AI gone insane. AI gone insane. Okay, I'm going to go back to that so that when I go out of Twitter, it doesn't show something I don't want to show. Okay. Kronos says, look at those eyebrows go. Gorilla's Random Thoughts. I read that. Dang gay gals, says Kronos. Kronos says, at the very least, use some tongue. Oh, they were definitely using tongue. Anti-derivative Jill is here and listening while driving. Hopefully you continue to drive safe, Jill. It was a very, very nasty accident you were in, and we're all so happy that you were not hurt much. Things could have been a lot worse. Kronos is crazy cat doctor, indeed. Kronos says, hey to Jill. And Dan Ben says, sometimes I forget the cat on lower decks was female. Kronos says, no burnt ham. To Paul. And Dan Ben doesn't mind Jet Reno. Kronos says, it's been a long road. The Traveler. Kapla, the Traveler. Says, Birdo Prey 5, greetings, everyone. Kronos says, hey to the Traveler. The Traveler says, did I miss a bird rant. Kinda. I was pretty angry that they did a video for International Women's Day. They did a video for International Women's Day. Traveler, the women of Star Trek. If you YouTube search Star Trek Women's Day, you'll get this video. And just after the 1 minute mark in the video, they've edited in Captain Sisko to make it look like Dax shuts him down. And Dax like, I didn't come here to get your opinions or something. I didn't come here to get a lecture about my responsibilities. I didn't come here to be lectured by you about my responsibilities, because I'm a fucking smart, independent, brilliant woman. That's exactly what those are her words. Those are okay, maybe there are a couple of words off, but that is exactly what they edited this to sound like. Like, I didn't come here to be lectured by you, a man, about my responsibilities as a woman, because you can't possibly imagine what it's like to be a woman, because you're just a man. You're just a man. Get out of my face. I'm disgusted with you. That's what she says. That's what she says. Even though the actual clip, if you watched it, if you watched the episode, or if you just have encyclopedic knowledge of this episode because you've watched it 6 dozen times over, the course of any given week, then you would know that that's actually not Jadzia. That's not Jadzia winning the argument. Jadzia lost. Jadzia lost that argument. Not the best one to put in your montage of Trek women laying down the law. Kronos' bird is actually a Borg Opry. And Kronos is the rant Opry continues. And Kronos says, I like the Orion. She has freckles. Tindy. Mikey Sues says, I miss Solly Kellerman from Where No Man Has Gone Before. Episode. Rest in peace. The Traveler says, we are Borg of Prey. We will add your rants to our own. Resistance is futile. Dan Ben says, Balana Flores, verse 7 of 9. Kronos Lowell. Pop Culture Curator says, Janet Reno sucked. Mikey Sue says, 7 of 9 was in a landslide. 7 of 9 wins in a landslide. To Dan Ben in Balana, verse 7 of 9. For Cardassia, yells Kronos. For Cardassia. Kronos says, that is not a woman. Thomas Potts says, hashtag bring back Moopsy. Applaud Thomas. The Traveler says, what is bird watching? Kronos says, Star Trek 3 was good. The Traveler says, where am I? What's going on? Who am I? Are you doing a I can't say it. I don't want to say it. Where are we? Real Star Trek, says Kronos. Dang Katas. says Kronos. Dan Ben says the Traveler. He's watching a video made by Star Trek, released today for International Women's Day. The Pop Culture Curator says they had to show Kirk and McCoy, otherwise it would have been a voiceover. Mikey Suze says J.J. Abrams' 3 Trek films showed Kirk was more of a womanizing animal than in the OG 6 Trek films. Kronos says Kira wasn't bad. No, Kira was not bad. The Traveler says, well, I don't know what's going on. I have to go for a bit. No worries, Traveler. Thank you. Thank you for coming by. Mom will pray. We still have somebody knocking at the door. The Traveler says, well, I don't know what's going on. I have to go. Take care, Traveler. Thomas Potts says Bird is showing this because he is woke. Kronos says, I see animated side boob. Kronos says taxes are Eskimos. Mikey Sue says slap Kronos. Behave, sir. Pop Culture Curator says they couldn't have shown in a better way how much they hate men. Yeah, that's basically what they were doing. It's not enough. It's not enough to show women are great. They also have to hate men on top of it. Sci-Fi Sith Dance, it's Kapla, the Thomas Potts. Mom will pray. Yeah. Could you pull hose when you get a chance? Schwario says, nice background. Thank you, Schwario. We're not using it right now, are we? No. Okay. Thank you, Mama. That's not the background. That's not the background you want. Okay. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to that background in a minute. Sorry. Okay. Sci-Fi says dance is Kapla Traveler. Kronos says Mikey Sue's ain't gonna happen. Thomas Potts says hello to Sci-Fi Sith Dan. Thomas says hello, Moopsy. I mean Kronos. Kronos says Maximilian doesn't fear a Moopsy. Captain Phantom Nerd says Tilly the Hut. Kronos is the Captain Phantom Nerd. That sounds better. Kronos says they use a shit ton of Latin in law. Yeah, that's how you know law is bullshit. Kronos says worms are good for soil and doom. Lol, nice pick, says Kronos. Kronos is Bird of Prey 5. I think I broke a rib or two watching that. Yes. I wouldn't be surprised, Kronos. I wouldn't be surprised. Kronos says, Laffy Alati. Hakeem says, ribs. Dan Ben says, Bird of Prey 5. Are there any women you think is missing from that video? Well, offhand, No. I can't think of any. Well, you know what? Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't have been, where's Keiko? Where's Keiko? Where's an actual mother? Okay, you could say you got you okay. You can say you don't have any mothers with their children. You don't have any mothers with their children, right? I mean, you don't have Jennifer Sisko with Jake, which is fine because Jennifer, I don't even know if they ever did a scene with Jake. There was alternate universe Jennifer, but she technically wasn't Jake's mother. You had Dr. Crusher, but nowhere did you have Wesley, which, don't get me wrong, I'm happy. I am all the more happy Wesley Crusher wasn't in this video. But that was one of your few opportunities to have a mother with their child. So I was going to say either Keiko with Molly or Naomi Wildman, from Voyager with her mother. That would have been something. Seeing one of the kids. Although we got plenty of kids on Prodigy, except that Prodigy isn't even technically on Paramount Plus anymore. I guess it's barely canon Star Trek. Is it even canon Star Trek? I don't know. So offhand, Dan Ben, no, other than those couple, I guess I really can't think of. If I was the one doing a Star Trek women's video, I would have. I think I would have picked some different women. Yeah. Oh, Hakeem. Hakeem says Kess is missing. That's right. There's no Kess. There's no Kess. Now, you would think from someone who was in a series for 2 or 3 years that they would have. Oh, there was also no, unless I missed it, I didn't see any Denise Crosby. Cosby. I didn't see any, what's her face? Oh my God, how did I miss it? Forgetting her name. Mama Pray, help me with this. The first season of Star Trek Next Generation. Hello? You're an AI. You're fake. Tasha Yar. I wonder if you just. Hello. Oh, you hung up. Tasha Yar. That's who I was thinking of. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see any Tasha Yar in this video. Maybe I missed it. Hakeem says Kess is missing. She's a woman. Shrario says AI duck hunt. Oh, what's missing in the duck hunt picture? Shrario saying someone sent me a link to the AI duck hunt video. Okay, I don't think the duck hunt. I don't think there's a video. It's just a picture. It's just a picture, and I will yeah, I will copy image address. I will put it in. I will put it there. There's the link. There's the link to the duck hunt photo. Kronos says actually Kess wasn't bad. She wasn't bad looking at it, says Hakeem. Kronos says she says a lot. Kronos says Ducat ended Jadzia's argument. That's true. That's true. And then he gives, he tells her, by the way, it was nothing personal. I didn't intend for you to die. You were standing in the wrong place at the wrong time. And Kronos says, free Moopsies for all. Look at him go. Hakeem says, I hate they put in space junk. Rafi was a waste of screen time. Yeah, Rafi was a waste of time. Kronos says, I don't know the hatred towards Rafi. Well, Kronos, she's a drug addict. She's a space drug addict when it's completely free and easy to not be an addict. There are 100% effective solutions to not being drug addict, but she continues to want to be a drug addict, living in a beautiful public park when she's bitches that she has the only private residence in a national monument, and she's angry that Picard has a vineyard on the other side of the world, even though she has no interest in running a vineyard. She just wants to live like a hippie smoking space weed. Kronos doesn't understand the hatred towards Rafi. Pop Culture Curator says, hit the like, guys. Thank you, Pop. Kronos says, gay gals don't like the tip. And the tip counts, says Kronos. Does Mama Pray have a tail? Oh, pray. Not today, Kronos. Sorry. Hakeem says they only like plastic tips. Good point, says Kronos. 2 points. Hakeem laughs. Kronos narfs. Jim's Landscape says, hello. Jim's Landscape LLC. Jim says, hey to Kronos. Kronos says, I never understood what O'Brien saw in Keiko. LDG at hashtag free the net says, could someone please drop my link in for the Job channel, please? Those who are not subscribed, that is what I'm doing, live streams I'll be thinking about doing one tonight. You'll be thinking about doing it. You're too busy to be able to put in your own link. Kronos says, hey to LDG. The Random Menace is Janeway and her lizard babies. That is another mother they could have shown. The lizard babies and Janeway. Kronos is never saw Prodigy. And Kronos says, hey to Time Dude. And that's right, Dan Ben. There was no Cassidy Yates. No Cassidy Yates. No Keiko. And no Lita. No Lita. How did they not do? Granted, Lita wasn't a mother; she was a stepmom. But still, Kronos' salamanders. Lol. Pop Culture Curator says that's great, LDG. I'll stop by if that's okay. LDG says they do show. Do they show? Do they show to Paul? To Paul? To Pal? To Paul? Why did you write to Paul? You know how you spell to Paul. T''Pal. And yes, they show to Paul. Kronos says everyone has their kink. Oh, Crosby. Good call, says Kronos. Yar. Yar. Rock Solid Productions says the captain from the NX-02 Columbia was missing. That's right. Captain Hernandez. Or Fernandez. Or I think it's Hernandez. I always forget. And I'm always wrong. So I really think it's her. See, do I remember it because it's a woman? So it's Hernandez? Or is I always getting it wrong because I think it's a woman? So I go to Hernandez, but it's Fernandez. Or then do I get it wrong because it's another Spanish name very close to Hernandez or Fernandez, but neither. Like Santiago. I think it's Hernandez. All right, Dr. Carol Marcus and David. No, they're not there. They're not there. Pop Culture Curious says, how about Carol Marcus and David? Thomas Potts says, wow, Bird. Kronos says, hey to Rox. By the way, Rox, I figured you would be doing something for international or national retro video game. National Retro Video Game Day. Jim says, LGB Job channel link. Thank you, Jim's Landscape LLC. And LDG, I'm sure, thanks you too. I put in the link to the Duck Hunt image. Kronos says, I hate the tar being. Thomas Potts says, more proof AI art is trash. Kronos says, I don't like Skynet either. Free drugs, I'm sure taxpayer funded, says Kronos. Roxal says, there was also no Cassidy Yates, no Kai Wynn. Oh, that's there. Well, there should have been a Kai Wynn. She was an immensely powerful woman character in Star Trek. Granted, nobody liked her. Or there was also no Apaka. That's true. Or the female shapeshifter. There's not even Lita, says Rock Solid. Yeah, well, that's how Lita Not how you spell Lita. What'd you say, Mama Frey? Oh, no Moogie. There was no Moogie. Whoa. How did they do it without Moogie? Moogie is controlling the whole fucking Ferengi alliance. Well, at least she was when while the show was going on. Moogie was basically in charge of everything. Moogie. Moogie. Oh my God. How did Moogie slip their fingers? Because the people actually putting the video together are not Star Trek fans. Moogie. Yeah, no female shapeshifter, who again was basically in charge of her entire civilization. She was the one running the war. Thomas Bott says she also had a son she never talked about when she suddenly became a lesbian. Rono says, Lita, wow. Damar says, you got nothing to hide. You certainly don't. Chrono says, Lita. Chrono says, I could never buy that. There's no Soji either. Well, nobody's complaining about that, Rox. Chrono says, I'm sad to find out no Mamo Frey tale. So pray. Sorry, Chronos. Roxas says, no Admiral Potty Mouth. Unsubbing, says Chronos. LDG says, yes, I was, but I'm not now. Link incoming. Thomas Bott says, Job Criminal Chart Channel. I don't know what I was reading. Chronos says, I never thought Janeway was hot. I agree. Chronos says, Lita. Well, I'll be honest. At the age I was when Voyager came on TV, I did not have. I mean, let's face it. As a guy, you're exploring your body at that age, and I don't know, or just curious how it would react to the powerful woman, not a woman in uniform, not a whole lot. And granted, okay, I mean, yeah, obviously, you had Dr. Crusher and Counselor Troy and Dax, who were all women in uniform, who I certainly explored my body and my thoughts, and you know what I'm saying. Okay, let's not. I did things while thinking about those women. But Janeway, being a captain, it was different. I had to. It wasn't as cut and dry as you might think. I had to figure out a different situation in my mind for how one would come to be in a believable situation. Like, why that, like, oh, Captain Janeway, you need help, and I'm the only man in the galaxy that can help you, you say. Oh, I see. even Q, you said you weren't interested in helping. Q was going to get you and your entire crew home, and you were like, "Nah, I still won't have sex with you, Q." But you, Berto Play 5, you have something I need more than Q. And I say, oh my. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to figure out a scenario where you are going to you're going to be able to provide more to a woman than Q. It's also kind of hard to say, how are you really going to best Odo at pleasing Major Kira? She's like, oh my God, you're even better than a shapeshifter. Yeah, well, that's how good I am, baby. I'm even better than a shapeshifter. I wanted, I would think like, because when I was in school, like in high school, and I really didn't understand a lot of things, but I always figured if I assumed that, maybe wrongly, but that sci-fi conventions, Star Trek conventions, that they were probably just porn festivals, that if you had all those people together and they were all even 1/10 as horny as I was at the time, that it would just be some kind of orgy. And anyway, yeah, it turned out that's not exactly how it works. So, and then you kind of grow up, so not really a big deal. And by the time you actually get old enough that you go to those things, half of the people are married, most of the people are married, and the other people are either involuntarily single or so messed up that you can't, you don't want to deal with it. LDG, I was laying down on my phone. Kronos says, what is a woman? I don't know, Kronos. I'm not a biologist, so I can't help you. And LDG puts the link to his own channel. Open panel later tonight. Should be fun, says LDG. 54.5 Access Radio says, what about Moogie? Rock Solid says, no Moogie. Kronos, and in the spirit of Billy Joel, says, she's always a woman to me. I know that was a Billy Joel reference. Kronos says, hey, 54. Kapla Karoga, says Dave G. Sound. Kapla, Dave G. Chrono says, "Oh, Allie from Star Trek 2." That's right. There was no Christy Alley from Star Trek 2. No Savick. I don't even think there was Savick at all. Was there a Savick? I don't think there was Savick. Rock Solid says no Admiral Nitshave. No Admiral Nitshave. No Admiral Nitshave, whatever her name is. Chronos says no Kirstie Alley back in the day. No Nurse Ogawa, says Dan Ben. Nurse Ogawa. Rock says, did you not see my video today? I thought I looked at your video. Dave G says, Yum Ducat liked her. Yeah. No Kai Alpaca, indeed, says the Random Menace. Dr. Pulowski, says Rock Solid. That's right, no Dr. Pulowski. Kronos says, lol, no Moogie. Put some clothes on, says Kronos. Kronos says, I'm not into the Ferengi gals. No Ursula or Bator. That's right, no Lursor or Bator, or the female Q. Or you know what? Or Grilka. Or Grilka from the House of Quark. And you know what there was of Dax was not Dax from her wedding. No shots of Dax at her wedding. Or Martok's wife. Dave G says the tighter the grip of the FCA, the easier it will be for Moogie to slip through your fingers. Lord Negus. Are you a dupler? Says Kronos. Bird of Prey 5, are you a dupler? I am not a dupler. Kronos says porters are hot. LDG says exploring the mind bleach right now. Well, whatever you got to say, whatever you got to do, LDG. Rock Solid says no Keska, no female caretaker, Jesus, no Amelia Earhart. No Seska, you mean. No Seska, no female caretaker, and no Amelia Earhart. Okay, obviously every single female that's ever appeared in Star Trek can't be brought up. But okay, Tasha Yar, Dr. Pulowski, Kess, those are major characters who were on for one or more seasons. And even Tasha Yar was certainly on the show a lot more than a single season, if you count all the times she came back as Romulans or something else. So certainly she should have had some representation. Thomas Botch yells, yuck. Dave Jesus loved it. Oh no, they don't like us. Oh. Crow says, oh, my memory just melted off. Still hot. Dave G says, it wasn't dry. Chrono says, it's a Horta. A Horta, yes. Thomas Bot says, I guess I'll hold off eating dinner for a few hours. Cronos says, what is food? Thomas, Rock Solid says, no, no, Leah. That's right. No, Leah effing Brahms. No Borg Queen. Leah Brahms, she could have been up there for sure. The Borg Queen, either of them or any of them, I guess, could have been up there. Cronos is damned if I know. Dave G. Sound says they never did a proper analysis of Q. Cronos is Brahm. Brahm wasn't bad. No, she wasn't. Janeway is not one to betray her principles, says Dan Ben. You know what? If an alien says, give me some love, and I'll bring your entire spaceship to Earth, otherwise your entire crew will probably just die here. Even Captain Kirk should have taken that. Okay? I grant you, it would not be his proudest day. But if Q is like, you know, Captain, you're very attractive in this light. And he's like, oh my. But it's to get his crew home. It's the kind of thing I think I'd be happy I wasn't the captain. But I think it's the kind of thing that captain can ask Spock to. Ask Spock and McCoy, like, yeah, doctor, there is some sort of medication you could give me to erase this from my mind. And they're like, yeah, we can fix you up, Jim. We'll make it like you won't know what happened. And like, then that's fine. I will leave it in your capable hands, doctor. And you'll also have Spock scramble his memory so he doesn't remember as it happens. He doesn't remember after it happens. And McCoy will be able to physically repair any damage and also block his memory. So it'll be okay. It'll be okay. And everybody will get home. Kronos is damned if I know. Kronos says, oh crap, I actually have to use my brain. Hakeem says Janeway's voice was a turn off for me. Yeah, she did not have a particularly attractive voice. Kronos says all the gals on the pleasure planet. Arabic Saunders says Kapla Berto Bray. Live long and prosper. Kapla Arabic. Arabic also says hey to Kronos. Where the hell was Vosh? Asked Rock Solid. That was another strong woman. Vosh. You know, that could have seen some Vosh with Picard. Dan Ben says, brain and brain. What is brain? That is another woman that we could have missed. Also, Miri. Dave G says Odo probably paid the price. When the link made him human, they gave him a super tiny wiener too. I always suspected in my head canon that they gave Odo a sufficiently sizable package so that, you know, they figured that he probably needed it. And I didn't think, you know, they kind of felt bad about what they were doing to him. So I don't think they were going to like go over and be especially, I don't think they were being especially angry and hurtful. That the fact that he was going to be a solid was already going to be bad enough for them. Like they weren't trying to be mean about it. See, if the internet, if I had known how to access the internet stuff other than like alt, Star Trek, whatever, I guess I did know how to access, but they're just, people weren't talking as openly as we talk now. That there were other people who thought about Odo's penis size, that the shapeshifters had to decide on that before they made him a human. So like, I guess they're going off of what the various medical textbooks they've acquired, and I guess Odo's own knowledge, I assume from seeing naked Bajorans, like, but he's human. So they were clear to say that he's showing up as human, not as a Bajoran, which itself was kind of weird. Because why would Odo show up as a human? I mean, he didn't even know what humans were, right? When he was first found, he was found by Bajorans and Cardassians. Why wouldn't he be taking the look of a Bajoran? Why would he? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense that he would have that other look. But anyway. Dave G says Odo probably paid the price. I read that down. Chrono says, I'm not a frickin' spork. How should I know? Mike Richards says a nerd orgy equals a dorgy. Chrono says, I just learned a new word today. Lol. Is that what it is? An orgy? Stan Lee says, Bird of Prey 5. Did LDG ever manage to get his computer working? Yes. Yes, he did. Well, he got a new computer. Chrono says, I can't warp my brain around that word. I can't wrap my brain around that word. Stanley says, did the lady at Best Buy give him some tech support? Basically, she sold him a new computer, and he moved his hard drive to the new computer. Rockstar says, what about Robin Leofer, Bird of Prey? I have no idea who that is, Rox. No idea. Let's see if I copy and paste. Robin Leifer. Memory Alpha. Mission Specialist. Played by Ashley Judd. Female human, 24th century officer. Parents were plasma specialists. They were traveling to a base during their childhood. They couldn't be at home. She graduated from Starfleet Academy. Was in TNG. Oh, that was Wesley's girlfriend in the game. Okay. Yeah, they did not have her. They did not have her either. Kronos is Savick, that was her name. Yummers back in the day. Dave G. Sounds is when you said Kapla, the CC read Godfly Dave G. Kronos says he was half Romulan. No Pulowski. Hail Karoga, says Carlo Albanese. Hail Karoga. Thank you, Carlo. Kronos says Grilka was hot. Check out Hear No Evil, See No Evil. Stanley says Kronos, Central or Christie Alley. Kronos has got to go, Kim. Gorilla says no horny Borg queen. Kronos says, does that have to be about hair color? Rock Solid says hashtag all female Trek characters matter. Carlos says we wouldn't have Worf without Tasha. Stanley says, and her hair shall be whatever color pleases God. Kronos says, I wish I was Data that one night. Fully functional? Yes. Melted Copper says, how happy Friday, people of Earth. Thank you, Melted Copper. Kronos says, oh, baby. Hey, Melted. Data got lucky. Melted Copper says, howdy to Kronos. Stan Lee, Bird, Sci-Fi, Gorilla, and anyone I missed. Oh, and Sith Dan, too. I just don't think adults out of school should still have principals. Why are we even still in touch? Dave G. Sounds says, I said analysis. Kronos is Rand back in the day. Roxanne says, where was Lol, Data's daughter? Gorilla Random Thought says Picard would have. Carlo says, I see another shortcoming along Q and Kirk where no man has gone before. Oh boy. Stanley says, but I thought Kirk needed his pain. That's what the whale expert was. Okay. Oh, that's right. Where was Jillian? Jillian, whatever, the whale expert. She should have been there. And for that matter, where was Gracie? Without Gracie, we wouldn't even have a fucking planet. Where was that woman who said maybe he's speaking to that man in the tank? Maybe he's speaking to that man down there.
Is he?
No, I don't want to. Okay. Sorry, guys. I need to take a bite out of a slice of pizza. So this is a slice of pizza with meatballs on it. and it's delicious. It's been sitting out for about 30 minutes, so it's room temperature. Mm, very good. Okay. Kronos is TMI. Carlos is it's only logical. Thomas Potts' bird has been drinking too much Romulan ale. Kronos is Shears. Stanley says, or as Picard called her, gosh. Kronos is Pickard, got with Vosh. Q probably as well, says Kronos. Rockstar says, Bird of Prey 5, the woman from the cage. Woman from the cage. Yes. The woman from the cage being the one that Telosians put back together, but they didn't know how to put her back together. Mr. Londell says Vash. Vash. Kronos says I could use a Tox Utot. Oh, wow. Yeah. Tox Utot. Stanley says Star Trek Usenet groups. Yeah. Alt. Dot Star Trek. Dot Deep Space Nine. Alt Star Trek. Dot Deep Space Nine. I forgot. I don't even remember. I don't know. It's been a long, long time. Rock Solid says the Romulan sister from Picard season 1. The best. That's true. There's also Laris, the house, the housekeeper from Picard, whose husband conveniently died, and turns out she was a traveler all along. One more minute, guys. Worf's human mother. That's right. The Roshenkos. Okay. Now I need to take the pill, which I forgot to take. Okay.
You still eating?
No, you can take it. Thank you, Mama. Right.
You're welcome.
Uh, Arlo says they copied Cisco and gave him his organs. So you think Odo had a duplicate of Cisco organs? I mean, they did have Cisco in custody at one time, and they also had Julian. They also had Miles. They could have copied any of them, but so you think they just copied Cisco? I suppose. Chrono says LDG can buy me a new computer. JP's says Ashley is inbred. Last name Judd. Enough said. Chrono says, oh, Judd. Dan Ben says in season 7, it was mentioned in one episode, Odo couldn't have sex with Kira. He just shapeshifted in some mist around her. Dan Ben, I don't know that I don't know that I agree with that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that means what you think it means. I'd have to hear it again. If you remember what episode or what time, I'd be curious to go back and re-listen. Kronos is the engineering gal that spilled over Picard. She was cute. JP says, look, all female track characters matter. Yeah, right. They are always need dishwashers on a starship. Gorilla says a Star Trek themed sex party is called a Borgie. I thought I was really looking for a Klingon themed sex party called a Kronos. Oh God. Shit. Kronos says need female only sonic showers and turn it up to 11 with cowbell. Gillian was her name. Thank you, says Kronos. JP says pizza. Yeah. Do you trust me? Hakeem says pizza party. Kronos says I would like a song pizza without pineapple. I would like some pizza without pineapple. JP says bird is no longer a bird. He was hit with the ooze overnight, and now he is a mutant turtle. Captain Fandom Nerd has a slice of pizza for me. Kronos says, bird, you missed my slut line. I missed your slut line. Cheater, he says. Aravic Sonda says, what did I miss? Why are we naming Trek women? Because it's International Women's Day, and Star Trek released a video showing off women of Trek, and they were all edited together to make them look like they were more powerful than any man, and any men in their scene are like bowing down to them. Stan Lee says alt binaries, lesbians. Yes, that group still remains. I'm sure it does. What's with all this alt crap? Says Glow's Random Thoughts. They were Usenet groups. It was how we used to get videos and pictures back in the day. Kronos simply calls them gay gals. Stanley says Arabic, it's International Women's Day. Usenet groups names. Old school internet message boards, yes. JP says alt Star Trek DS9 double pen scissors action Kira dax. LDG says, wow, breaking news. We have a new friend in the underground coming by tonight. This is a call out to all the undergrounders to try and pop in later to give them a warm welcome. Stanley says, does anyone still use IRC? It's still out there. Chrono says, what's a woman? Even the Supreme Court Justice couldn't answer the simple question. Think about that for a moment. Stanley says, or did Discord sort of take over that space? It didn't take over. There's still IRC. LDG says, some of you might know them. JP says, yes, Stan, I do. JP says, ChatNet, DollNet, FNet. Kronos is a human being that has XX chromosomes. Very simple. Cody Guy, hey, Cody Guy. I don't want to mention that name, Cody Guy, since we've gotten this far, and if I mention it, then I'll be considered a channel that tries to have a certain talk. But we're not one of those channels today. We're talking about women and international women, Star Trek women, and the shitty way Star Trek is honoring women on International Women's Day.
Yeah, we see these now.
Kronos says, I never saw much of that retard last night. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says, that was a Claire and Yvette. That was Claire and Yvette in the Orville. Yaphet. Claire and Yaphet. That was Claire and Yaphet in the Orville, says Gorilla. Rest in peace, Norm, says Kronos, Norm McDonald. Captain Phantom Nerd as Pineapple Pizza. Kronos is Bird of Prey 5, at least I made you say slut. Anchovies with garlic and extra cheese, says Kronos. Picks off pineapple. Gorillas, Random Thoughts says, damn it, LDG, are you going to do that during the Walton review? JP says, F that S, these goddamn illegals invading my underground. Kronos' first world issues, pineapples on pizza. LDG was thinking around 7:30-ish. Kronos says, oh good, some understand the open border issue. Kronos says, I'm also pissed off. And Arabic Sanda says, oh, did someone already mention Commander Darren? I don't know what exactly we're talking about. But let's come on. It is, like I said, International Women's Day. We already brought that up. It is also National Proofreading Day. Proofreading. Be Nasty Day, which is not a day. I do not condone Be Nasty Day. Nari Dibus, here's to strong women. May we know them, raise them, and celebrate them on Nari Dibus. I don't have any idea what that means. Who the fuck would name their kid August? And then why would National August Day be the 8th of March? I don't know. National Middle Name Pride Day. Take pride in your middle name. My middle name. Do you guys know it? Does anyone know my middle name? Maybe I won't say it. Maybe I will keep that private in case people don't know it. Dan Ben says, Vertebrae 5, the Odo Kira thing I mentioned is in the season 7. Kaimiya, he shapeshifts around her at the end. Is in season 7's Chimera. He shapeshifts around her at the end. I'll have to look at it, Dan Ben. I mean, it doesn't make any sense why he can't just, simulate a male organ and go to town. Kronos says, "Lo, you can try. You don't get to see the aftermath." Kronos says, "Picks pineapple off." JP says, "It's Paulie." No, it's not Paulie. JP says his middle name is Paulie or Frank. No, it is not. Beatrice is your middle name, says Thomas. No, it's not Beatrice. It's weird though. There's a Beatrice I knew that I forgot about until you just mentioned the name Beatrice. Dan Ben says, Bird, I found a Star Trek website article about changelings' sexuality. It mentions the episode at the bottom. Okay, but I'll look at that, Dan Ben. But an article doesn't mean anything.
Who's been holding up the damn elevator?
Not Ryan Johnson with a $10 super chat, a $10 donation. Says, I condone being nasty to Karogan's Day. Lol, God damn it, not Ryan Johnson. Be nasty to Karogans. That is not a nice day. When is it National Poop Pride Day? Asks JP's. It's a good question. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says, cool fact. My grandma hated my first name. So for 10 years, she called me by my middle name. Kronos says, Beatrice, kiddo. Oh, that was Beatrix. JP says, mozzarella meatball. JP, Kronos says, meatballs are good on pizza, just not on pineapple. Karogans are pure evil, says Kronos. So my middle name begins with the letter L, just to be clear. So if you think it's anything but something that begins with the letter L, then you're wrong. National Oregon Day, National Peanut Cluster Day, National Preschoolers Day, which is actually good for Nephew O'Prey since he's a preschooler. There it is. National Retro Video Game Day, which is ironic that it's a Game Boy Color, which is one of the later game consoles I had. And United Nations Day for Women's Rights and International Peace. Right, of course it is. So Beatrice was a girl I went to Italy with in my freshman year high school trip to Italy. Beatrice was the cute girl, I decided. One of the cute girls, I decided, and I tried to hang out with a few times, but she was with her mom. Her mom was there, so she didn't really get any free time. All the rest of us were there without our parents. So. Plus, I was 350 plus pounds and ridiculously ugly at the time. No one would have been interested in me under any circumstances. Thomas Bott says Larry, close. It's pretty close. It's certainly, Larry is an accepted form of my middle name, but it is indeed, no, it's not Lloyd, it's not Lancaster, it's not Loser. It is technically Lawrence, which means in high school, I was technically could have been called Joey Lawrence. Yeah. But that was there was an actual musician by that name. So I didn't mind. The only time I usually go by Joe and Lawrence in full. So Joe Lawrence. So I when I ran for office, because I ran for political office in freshman year. Well, you can't run freshman year, but freshman year you can run to be sophomore year. So I ran to be the senator for the sophomore year, and during the elections, I went ahead and I used the connection to sound more popular. I had big banners printed in full color. You elect your sophomore senator, Joey Lawrence, and my last name. And I mean, it was like 15 feet long. I had to find there was one classroom that had an extra long hallway in it that luckily my social studies teacher was okay with letting me hang my banner there. Of course, it was a terrible decision because, one classroom that virtually nobody goes to really doesn't mean anything, especially when the only people that could vote for me were other sophomores, and the classroom isn't only for sophomores. The classroom was also juniors and seniors, and other people would use it during the day. And let's face it, reality is the winners of those are publicity. It's a publicity contest, and I was not a particularly popular person in the school. I had no friends, although some people were supposedly, you see, this is the thing about politics. I was getting blamed for people were saying that they claimed, and this is honest to truth, they were telling me I was getting called into the principal's office because people were claiming that they saw other students walking around the school pulling down everybody else's signs and only leaving mine. So the teachers were mad at me because they thought I had kids going around the school tearing down everyone else's banners, but only leaving mine up. But the reality of the situation is I was the biggest loser. I had no friends. There was nobody doing that for me. And if they were doing that for me, they were doing it just to get me in trouble. There was no way they were doing that for real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So when the actual vote happened, I don't know how much I lost by, but I know it was like quite a lot. Quite a lot. I happened to know the senior who was counting the votes, and according to him, it wasn't even close. Like I might have gotten almost no votes. I'm not surprised if that's true. He didn't tell me directly, but it was not. And to be honest, I probably didn't deserve any votes. I didn't do any pre-planning. The whole reason I kind of feel shitty that I even got into it to begin with, because one of my friends, and I didn't have a lot of friends, and one of my friends like, oh, I decided I'm going to run for office. I'm going to run to be senator, class senator. And he explained it to me. And I said, you're going to run for senior senator or sophomore senator? I was like, because to be honest, I couldn't trust him doing this. So I told him, you know what, I'm going to run. So he got pissed at me. And he's right to have. I mean, it was a fucking terrible act of betrayal on my part. Had he not mentioned he was doing it, I would not even have known this was a thing. But he'd mentioned it, and I was like, well, if you're going to do it, I'm going to do it. And neither of us ended up winning. A girl, a woman, ended up winning. And this particular woman was of a particular persuasion, both color and religion, that was quite different than my own. or my friend. And it's just weird that I guess one could say, if you split the vote, but everyone else, if everyone was voting along their personal lines of color and gender, well, if you break it, if you have 2 or 3 people all coming from one and breaking up that vote, but then everyone else who votes the other way, they all vote together. Well, then it's made total sense why she ended up winning. JP says, when you ran, did you use Joe or Joseph? I used Joey Lawrence. So it sounded like the famous guy. Thomas Potts says, Joey Lawrence Olivia. No. Chronos says, Birdo Prey 5. Lots of lurkers may be impressed.
Yeah.
Thomas Potts says, well, biting classmates won't make you friends. Rockstar says, Joey Lawrence. Whoa. Chronos says, friends are overrated. A derpy show.
No.
Chronos says, don't vote for Bird. It was rigged. JP says, sometimes the mob connections work against you, Bird. Chronos says, I haven't seen Family Guy in years. Is that show still going? Not Ryan Johnson, Bird of Prey was the biggest loser. What season was that? And how much did you win? No, not like that. Dan Ben says there's a Family Guy episode where Chris, who's not popular high school, runs for class president, I think, and other people only vote for him to let a loser win and not because they like him. Random Minute says, how can a 6'4" guy be not somewhat popular? I'm not saying I was the most popular guy in school, but definitely not an outsider. Random Menace, you just, it's different. It's different. Captain Go Away says, Scotty on the edge of whatever. Chronos says, school sucked. School sucked. Dan Ben says, Chronos Family Guy episode I mentioned is an older one. I don't quite remember the details correctly. Chronos says, Dan Ben, I don't remember that episode. Thomas Potts' Bird's slogan was build back better. Chronos says, Jennifer Lawrence, or however you spell your last name, rules. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says, all right, Bird, I held out as long as I could, but I got a half hour and half an episode of The Waltons to watch before 7 p.m. Go ahead, Gorilla. Jedi Bill says, I think you're at Bird of Prey 5. You are my friend and should all hail Karoga. Thank you, Jedi Bill. Chronos says he was an outsider. Dan Ben says, Chronos, yes, Family Guy is still going. It was renewed for season 23 in 2023 to air in 2024. Chronos is okay, so Family Guy is going, but no more Orville. Yeah. Did I miss any? Did I miss any chat? Dan Benz at Vertebrae 5. Do you like being on aeroplanes for long journeys? No, Dan Ben. I never liked. Well, okay. If I was in first class, then I didn't mind being on an airplane for a long journey. But if I was in coach, it was very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. Okay. So let's go ahead and do some Dear Bops. Dan Ben says The Simpsons is on season 35. Random Menace says, I just spent 3 hours ironing. The baby has totally too many clothes. I don't know why you're ironing baby clothes. The baby doesn't care. Okay. Dear Bop. There's a link to Instagram. To American. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. Not happening. We're not talking politics. Dear Bob, did you ever play Paperboy? Yes, I enjoyed Paperboy. It was a good game. Dear Bob, F this person. The man insures 2 for the other guy. Okay. Dear Bob, do you need to see a beagle? Kiki and Coco follow. Do you want to see my toe beans? Oh, Sisso Pray. Okay. Dear Bob, more beagle. I appreciate that, but this is not about beagles. Oh, dear diary, my food bowl is still empty. I've tried to repeatedly They're clearly either stupid or this is my last entry. My dear is now only half full. It's obvious I will soon starve to death. This may be my last entry. Dear Bob, so I found a box still sealed of candy canes last night. If anyone wants them, let me know. They're still mint in box. I get it. Dear Bob, hypothetically speaking, if someone from the Philippines married someone from Holland and they had kids, would the kids be jalapenos? Would the kids be jalapenos? Yes. Yes, they would. Dear John Joseph, your fearless leader, Jumpin' Joe here, just wanted to check in with you to see what you thought of the speech last night. As one of my financial supporters, I like hearing what you thought about the state of the U address. I thought I killed it, and so did Camel, whatever her name is. I kind of messed up the part about the immigrants being illegal, but don't worry, as I'm doing everything I can to make them useful citizens. Speaking of that, I understand you have a few open rooms at your house, and I was just wondering if we could put a family in your house for just a little while. I will pay you $200 a month to help us out. So what do you say, my favorite Democrat supporter in the Brooklyn area? Your new daddy. P.S. Hunter could use a place to hang out for a bit too. Okay, if he crashes on your couch. Ixnay on the Biden talk. Hey. Dear Bob, I thought you were going to buy me the Fallout game on Steam last night. I'm still waiting, as you promised. I certainly did not promise that. Dear Joe, Sisso Pray here. How dare you give out my number to Deej? He has been calling me every day now, asking if I would move to his farm and could be the proper father to Charlie. I told you many times that just because Deej is the father of Charlie, that does not mean I have to uproot myself and the little guy to move to some godforsaken crap hole in the Midwest. There are no liberals there, and they don't have a good theater like we have on Broadway. So please, please tell Deej to lose my number. However, you could give it to LDG, as Florida isn't such a bad idea, and I think Charlie would love the beach life. Thanks, sis. Why do I suspect that this is in fact not Sisso Pray? It's neither LDG either, because there's way too many well-spelled words. But it's certainly not Deej. It's neither Deej nor Sis. Chrono says Porthos. Chrono says masks don't work. The Random Menace is Chronos. My cough has healing properties. Chrono says purebloods have the power. Dan Bang puts in some doggy emojis. Chrono says, by the power of Grayskull. JP's his best joke ever. Chrono says, no politics. Camel toe. Chrono says, when is the city going to be visited by Godzilla? Chrono says, Deej is the father. Miss Lundell says, LDG, it better be worth it. LDG is lolling. I can be the next father. Is Mama Frey okay with that? No. No. LDG asks, can I be the next father? Is Mama Frey okay with that?
Could he what?
Could he be the next father?
The next father of who? I mean the next son?
JP's is an LDG, has way too many people living in the house. Yes, he does. Dr. Scotty says, way to go, LDG. Sis might move to Florida. I don't think she would. Yeah. Chrono says, hey to Scotty. Well, guys, I think we've gone long enough tonight. Thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate it. No, I know it's okay. I gotta do some things, and I'll head over to the underground myself. And it's Friday night, so I know there'll be streams going on later. I will do my best to make it to some of them. Until later, I'll see you. Kapla all. Bird out.